What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about if Crash Team Rumble can honestly make it long term. And this is going to be a video that kind of pains me to say certain things, because here's the deal. If you've been watching the channel, you've been watching the past Crash Team Rumble videos I've been making, I genuinely love this game. I know this game is not for everybody, and that's kind of what spurred this idea. The thing is, I respect you, and I respect the many people out there that, number one, didn't ask for this game, and number two, flat out just aren't playing this game, right? It's kind of more than just people saying, well, we didn't ask for it. There's a lot of Crash fans. There's also just a lot of fans in general of gaming that did not, get this game. And I totally understand why. I think it's reasonable, respectable, all that stuff. I genuinely love it, and it actually kind of pains me that the game is so weirdly addicting and so weirdly good, because the answer to my video's question is I don't think this game is going to last all that long. Now, ultimately, this is from somebody on the outside looking in. I don't know their economic situation. I don't know what they're planning. I don't know if they're happy or mad or sad at the situation that they're in. I have no idea. What I can say is I genuinely love it. So I would give them a round of applause and say, you actually did it. But I can also honestly look at it and say, yeah, I think there's a player-based problem. I think there's a general lack of interest in this game. And I think unless something changes, I just don't think there's enough players that's going to keep this game around long term. Now, another question would be, what is long term? How long do they actually want this game to go on, I guess, and survive? Now, they've never given an exact thing, but obviously we know they want to have more than one season. They have talked in interviews that they have planned out like multiple seasons of content, and they're willing to kind of go as long as they feel like it's necessary to. So, I mean, they've given hints. I know I've thrown around like, hey, if this thing can make it till Christmas, I feel like that's okay. I mean, that's 6 months. That's 6 months from a release. That's pretty good. Now, that's only 2 seasons. That's season 1, which goes through September, like early, mid-September. And then you got season 2 from then until December. And then I guess that would basically be it, right? Now, like Crash, like Team Racing, like that lasted, about maybe a year? So that lasted maybe a little bit longer. So if they can get this thing to a year, I think that's probably... And I don't know this. This is literally just my assumption. I think if they were to continue to do seasons and do 4 seasons in all, get this thing to a 1-year anniversary, and then if they said, okay, we just have to stop, there's not enough, want for this game, I would understand that. And I think that would still be considered relatively successful, that you could keep this game around a year. Now, the negatives and why I believe the game is not doing all that well, I've talked about some of it. Even like day one, there's the bot problem. The fact that, and again, when I've mentioned this before, I was talking literally the first day I played it, but it's been a reoccurring issue over every day, actually, I've played it. There's bots. There's bots in the matches. Now, all right, games have bots, and bots fill the void. You don't want a 3v4 match or a 2v3 match. You want 4-on-4, so you need to put bots. Well, number one, the bots are terrible. They're absolutely awful, and if you do have a bot on your team and the other team doesn't, you are screwed. In my opinion, there's very little likelihood that you're going to win that match. I have seen it, but it's been pretty rare. So you have that. But, I mean, the bigger issue is to have bots filling the void in an 8-player multiplayer. That's it. There's only 8 players per match. And so day one, which would be the most played day. I think, right? I don't really think any other day would be more played than the first day the game comes out, maybe the first week. But when you have bots the first week, well, what does that tell you? It tells you even at the most full that the game is going to be, that there's still not enough people. Now, maybe it's the matchmaking issues, like it could be something like that, but there is also another issue is when you're playing the game, and I've live streamed this game plenty, I've played this game plenty, I feel like I have a good grasp of this. There are a lot of players that bought the premium, like the deluxe edition. Now, as I've said before, Activision gave me that. I bought the standard, and then they gave me that extra, $10, so you start at level 25, right? Well, what you've seen from day one, even to now, there's people in the 50s, 60s, 70s on that battle pass. Those are not, I'm going to tell you right now, those are not people that start at level 1. Those are people that start at level 25, at least the large majority of them. Now, you could say, all right, well, what's the problem with that? Well, I mean, again, this is purely an assumption. I feel like if the majority of people that you're playing with are the deluxe edition owners, that is the core. And I feel like there'd be more standard. Does that make sense? Like if you're a normal average Joe who doesn't really care and you were kind of won over by something that Team Rumble showed you before release, you're probably going to buy the standard edition. So the fact that most people are playing with the deluxe, I think like that's your hardcore fandom, but that's it. That's it. There actually isn't many people that did just the standard base edition. I think that's another kind of proof. Again, and maybe not necessarily a proof because it is hard to actually show, but I think that is a little bit of evidence that the player base is rather limited. Okay, so, I've spent 5 minutes now talking about, the game not being in the greatest spot player base-wise. Well, how do you fix it? In my opinion, there's really only, well, there's a couple of ways, but one is the biggest way, and it's free-to-play. It's making it in some way free-to-play. So doing it on Switch, which we have seen the kind of evidence that this game is going to come out on Switch, that may help it. I don't know by how much. I really don't know how much Switch owners are going to help just the Crash Bandicoot fandom playing a multiplayer game, but maybe it does. Maybe that does give it like a shot in the arm. But then free to play, I mean, they've done like the double XP weekend in terms of this past weekend, but I think something in the next month or two, and this is how you'll know. I said this in a live stream. You will know that this game is having severe troubles, and it's obvious. It literally is obvious. You would know when they make it free to play. If they make this game free to play within the next month or two, that means that there's not enough players, and they're trying to give this game a second, again, life. Now, that's not necessarily bad because I want this game to last as long as possible. So if you're going to do something to open it up to more people, I'm all for it. On the other hand, there's a lot of, in fact, everybody that's played this game so far has bought the game. So yes, there are examples of other games that start being paid and then they also go to free to play and they give people something for that, right? People that did buy the game, they get something extra because they were day one supporters. I would imagine and expect something like that for us, people that supported this game from the beginning. And if they do that, I mean, that could be a way to save this game. I think putting it on the Switch, putting it on more places, obviously would just open up to more people, and then making it free to play. You could do something even like a free to play weekend. I mean, we've seen that with different games in the past. Once a month, maybe like next weekend for or this upcoming one, right, for 4th of July, maybe just make the game free to play. Anybody can download it. Maybe you do it when a new hero comes out or whatever, a new character. So when Ripperoo comes out or when Engine comes out, open it up for 2, 3, 4 days. Let everybody play it that wants to, as long as your servers can handle it, of course. But if you can, why not, right? You might capture, you lose nothing. You lose absolutely nothing in that circumstance because you're just getting a new wave of people, and maybe you capture some of them with your strangely addicting game that is actually awesome, right? These people, they don't know it. They don't know what they're missing, and so you have to show them by literally giving it to them for free. But, hopefully people understand where I'm coming from with this video. I want the game to succeed. I want it to last long term. I think it's always been clear this was a very niche thing. This was always going to be smaller than a base Crash game. Even though you think multiplayer, it should be bigger, and that's probably what they were thinking as well, right? Multiplayer, long-term thing versus a single-player, short-term thing. This is a bigger potential. It's not. It's absolutely not, because just people don't do it for Crash. This is not what people were expecting, where people wanted, or where people are actually playing. At the same time, I'm going to defend this game till the day I die because I really love it and I want it to last as long as it can. So hopefully, I just want more characters, give us more maps, keep those seasons rolling. I will do whatever I can to support this game for the next year, to get Spyro, to get Tiny, to get all these characters that I want. I will do literally whatever it takes. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.